Hey guys, this is Time Travel Penguin, and today I just want to share a small little piece of software I've written and I've been working with for some time now that I thought some of you might be interested in. The software is pretty simple. It's called the Speedrun Leaderboard Exporter, or SLE as I've called it, and simply what it does is, I'm just going to run it here. All it does is it will connect to the speedrun.com API and it will export the leaderboards into a text document. So I'm just going to let it run here because it does take a little while to connect because I am not the most experienced coder. I am very amateur, so I'm sure it can be done a little bit faster. Plus, I think my internet's a bit slow. So here we have it exporting. So I've got it set in this little configuration file here. Whoops. I've got it set here in this configuration file to display these times in hour, minute, second format. So I'll go through all that in a minute, but I'm just expressing that now because what I'll show you is if I stop this here. There we go. It should have exported here. Yep. Okay, so I've stopped this part way and it has it in seconds. Now that's important if you want to have it in some kind of Excel spreadsheet, for example. And I'll just open up the one I've been working on myself, and I quite literally just pasted. I've got a few stats that are here, and this one isn't so much important, but this one here is actually very nifty. These are all of the speedruns for Super Mario Odyssey, any percent from, the first week to, I believe, last week? No, this week, sorry. This past Tuesday. And what you have is in the vertical, you have the time in seconds. In the horizontal, you've got the rank, or first place, second place, third place. And what this shows is that the ranking is progressively better time as time goes on. So if you want, 500th place, which is about here, it's very easy to get on this week compared to what it is now. So, it's just a few little stats you can do. And this is only just one thing you can see from this leaderboard. There's a lot of things you can see with a lot of leaderboards. You can start to see different kinds of curves in different games with difficulties, and you can see where the professionals really differ from the amateurs. But anyway, so I'll just show you this program real quick and show you what it does before I go into the configuration file. So the first option, option 1, exports a specific leaderboard on speedrun.com. So at the moment I've got it set up for Super Mario Odyssey and it's set to any percent. Now, you should note that you can also add queries or filters. So for example, I've got it set to default as emulators are off, so it doesn't export emulators, and that doesn't really do anything for Odyssey, but for other games it can be important depending on how the leaderboard is set up, and that's also something you should know how the leaderboard is set up, because sometimes they kind of break. For example, Super Mario 64 has its own categories now for console and emulator, and for some reason it's a little bit funky and I haven't worked out why, so just a little note. So option number 2 is to export user speedruns. So if I run that now, what that does is it will export all the personal bests done by a specific user. So I've got it set up for me, and again, in the configuration file you can define the user, and you can either use their username on speedrun.com, or you can use their user ID, which is a string of numbers and letters. And here it's just going to export my up here you can see I've done 4 speedruns. It shows you the time that's passed, the number of errors that occur, and they're usually just timeout errors, and if that's due to a laggy connection or something over the internet. And if that happens, it just continues until it works. But I've never had any other issues, and then it shows you the estimated time remaining. So here, so the files it creates is either SLE export and it shows you the game and the category, or it's SLE export and the username. So if I open the username, you can see here the time that I initiated the program, followed by all of the things that it exported. And here, as you can see, it has an export set to seconds, again, for more spreadsheet uses. But now if I open up my configuration file, this is where you can change things such as the username. And here you can see this is my user ID, so it's just a little bit of an example here. You can change the game category. Now, to know what the category is, what you'll want to do is you want to go onto speedrun.com, find the game. So here is Super Mario Odyssey, and it'll be up in the URL. It'll be speedrun.com/SMO, and that is the Super Mario Odyssey. And then what you want to do is find your category. Now what you do is simply go into your categories on the speedrun leaderboard and click it, and it will turn up to, you know, speedrun.com/SMO #any. And what you want to do is you want to copy the any, or it might be 100, so it'll be #100 for 100%, for example. I'll skip down here first. Query is the filter. Now this is kind of advanced. You can leave this as blank if you do not want to do anything. So I suggest using this link here, and this takes you to the speedrun.com API information over on GitHub, and it will show you just exactly what you can do with the query. I believe this is the link that can show you that. And I've put up here that the query should be, you know, question mark followed by the condition. So here I've got emulators equals false, and it's, you know, condition equals 1. And if you want to do another condition, you do an and sign followed by condition B equals whatever, so on and so forth. You know, always having the and symbol. Now this part here is the most recent addition, which I haven't published yet to the GitHub, which if you want to download this, there's a link in the description, or you can just go to sle.pengu.space and it will take you to GitHub. These are the newest edition. What this is this is what changes the display and export for whether it's in seconds or in hour-minute seconds. Although note that if the seconds are less than 3600, which is 1 hour, it will only show minute seconds. It doesn't display the hour, which is just an aesthetic I added. So the leaderboard display seconds and export seconds. Obviously, display seconds are the things that go on screen. Export seconds are what goes in. So for the leaderboard, it'll be anything to do with a game. So if you go through option 1, then the display seconds will be these ones here. And if it's in false, then it will be not in seconds, which means it'll be hours, minutes, seconds. And then the export will be the ones that go into this file. So here you see I've got it set to false, so it doesn't show seconds. So it shows it in hours, minutes, seconds. And now if I stop this, you can see it's got it in seconds because I've got this set to true. I do want it in seconds. And also I've got it set for the user, which is anything to do with exporting a user, which is option 2 in the program. So option 2. And I've got it to not display in seconds, but export in seconds. So that's kind of annoying to wrap my head around, especially considering programming it was a bit buggy and a bit funky. I'd kind of done it a very sloppy way, but I'm not the best Python programmer. So that pretty much covers the majority of the program. One other thing I wanted to show is, let me just close all this. If I, this file here is just a caching for the Python script. You can delete this. It normally deletes it by itself, but I closed the program, so it didn't get the option to do that. If I delete this configuration file, and I'll delete these while I'm here, the configuration file is not there and you run it, it just tells you the configuration file is not there, and it will create one for you. And if I open this up, it'll just be what I had. I've just set it default to be me, Super Mario Odyssey, any %, and these are the basic. You obviously want to export in seconds, but not show in seconds. Show in seconds, not export seconds. Show in seconds, not show in seconds. And so if you now run it again, it'll bring you here. Also, if you don't want to delete it, this file here, you just open it up again, press 3, it'll clear it for you. But yeah, that'll delete that file at the end. It says press any key to continue, and if you hit X, it won't delete it. I'm going to change that in the next build. I believe it's 2.2. But at the moment, you've got to press to continue, and then it'll close for you. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys, some of you, find this interesting. You can use this to monitor either how you compare against everyone else or how everyone else compares against everyone else. It's quite interesting to use for new video games. For example, I started this program back when A Hat in Time came out, and I haven't been keeping up with it. I stopped several weeks in due to me simply forgetting, but now, ever since the first week of Super Mario Odyssey, I've been exporting every Wednesday morning, Tuesday night sort of thing. And, I have those graphs I showed you before. So that's pretty much it. That covers it. As you can see, things like Super Mario Odyssey 80% has a significant amount of users, and I added this percentage and fraction as well as time elapsed and the ETA simply because of some speedruns taking so long. It is important to note that this does take a while because the software, the script doesn't actually know what these usernames are. So here you can see, the sludgy game. This program doesn't actually know who that is when it's looking at the leaderboard, because the leaderboard actually stores it as the IDs. So I've actually got to look up that ID and then figure out what the username is for each and every ID, which is why it kind of takes a while. If I didn't do that, this would be done in a few seconds, I believe, but if not instantaneously. But yes, unfortunately, it has to take it very slow. And when you do usernames, it's got to do that for several things, because everything from the game to the category, it's all stored as different IDs. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I would love to hear any ideas for additions. I want to add not just personal best for users, but also individual runs. I'm not too sure how to do that at the moment, but I'm planning to look into it. But at this point in time, I don't think I'll be doing that just yet. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this. I hope you have enjoyed and you are interested in this. Feel free to leave any comments suggesting any additions or any criticism. And if you want to help make this faster, better, you're free to help me out, I've got a Discord, obviously. You can send me a message there or do whatever you got to do on GitHub. I don't know how that works, so, probably Discord would be faster. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much, and I will see you later.